How do you use an Android phone as a dash? Stick around. Okay, there's many choices when it comes to GPSs and things like that. People use the Garmin. Some people use cell phones. I wanted something that looked permanent on the bike, and I wanted to bring the bike up to, I don't know, kind of a modern style dash. And I got sick of the DR analog speedometer, and I wanted something else that looked a little more modern. So this is what I came up with. Basically, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be installing a what they call a tough cell phone that you can buy on Amazon. They're not very expensive. They range from anywhere from $150 to about $300, and they're waterproof, they're dust-proof, vibration-proof. They're pretty sturdy. So I found some pretty neat stuff that we'll see later in the video that work in conjunction with this. But basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a way to mount the phone to the dash cleanly. We're going to be installing the little power supply stuff up there above the screen. And we're just trying to make it look as factory as we possibly can. So stick around with the video here and you'll see where I'm going with this towards the end. Thanks a lot. Check that out. First time I've ever used a box brake to make a box. Kind of neat. There will be a hole cut out in the front of this for the lens on the phone, and it will sit up nice and tight against it. It pops right in there. Slides right in. Pretty cool. Fits in there just like that. I'll put a little bit of fuzzy pads on the back of this because this is going to sit up against, this way. It's going to sit up against the back of the dash. I still got to cut the holes for the charge cable and stuff, but pretty awesome. Never made anything like that before. All right, so there's the phone in its case. It still needs to be painted and all that good stuff. I got to TIG up the corners, but it's in there. We got the opening looking pretty good, I think. Tried to get it as centered as I could. I think we did pretty well. So there's the DR650 dash. Pretty soon that thing is going to go bye-bye. Kind of neat. Okay, so we got this thing all fitted and painted. And what we used was, it's kind of a rubberized coating. I wanted something to try and kind of look like the powder coating on the dash. It's similar. It's not perfect, but it's close. But anyway, we're going to call that done. I'm waiting for my handlebar joystick controller that's going to get mounted down here on the bar. And once we have that, we'll finish this thing up. Okay, so at this point in the game, we realized that we needed to have some kind of power here to keep the phone charged, and this is what I came up with. We ordered this on Amazon. It's just a simple three-way little dash panel, and we'll go over how we located and mounted that here following this. So thanks for watching so far. Okay, so what we've done so far, we used our transfer punches on these little holes. We located this plate where we want it, and we used our transfer punches to find center, and we drilled the holes. I don't know if you can see in there. We drilled them. I had some stainless steel self-tapping screws. They kind of match the ones that I'm using for the dash. And we put those in first. I used a piece of tape to align it where I want it to be, and then I tapped for those holes. And then I scribed where the circle is here, and then we're going to find our center on these holes so we know exactly where to drill with the big hole saw to get our other little devices to fit through the back. Okay, just a quick little tip for finding the center line of a circle. Measure your, let me just clear this out here. Hard to do with one hand. So you're going to measure your diameter of the circle, figure out what that is, then do the math, cut it in half. In this case was around 580. And then the back of your caliper, you can put one side like this and use it like a compass and go, and you do that in a few different locations and you end up with where they crisscross. That'll be the center line or the center of your circle. All right, so there's a little tip. We got all those done. We'll drill them here and we'll be right back. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Took a little bit of filing. My unit bit didn't go quite big enough, but it worked pretty good. We had to rearrange the components in there because the USB and the 12 volt receptacle, the cigarette lighter, if you will, are deeper, and there's the rise in the headlight. This one was touching, so I just moved the switch to the middle. We're going to get started on wiring, but it's looking pretty good. Okay, guys. So I got another little tip here just for longevity's sake. I'm sure people have seen this before. It's like this is what the professional wiring loom people use for all the off-road EFI systems and things like that. Bosch, all the really good stuff. That's what they use. If I can get it to focus, you can see it's kind of like those Chinese finger cuffs kind of stuff, but it's really, let's see if I can get in there. There we go. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, so, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wires that are feeding up to our dash, and I'm going to put both of them in it. I already kind of got started on it. So what you do is you basically just expand this stuff. It's hard to do with one hand. So you expand it, and then you slide it down, and you expand it, and then you slide it down until you progress it all the way down, because you can't just slide it in there. And up here at the top where they join, I've got a piece of shrink wrap waiting, and I'll tuck it in there, tuck it all together in there, and then the shrink wrap keeps it from coming off. So that's just something that I like to do whenever I wire something. It's going to make it way better, way more reliable, way less chance that it's going to get chafed long term and give us trouble. So I'll get that done and we'll show you a little more. Okay, so we've got it all wrapped and routed and zip tied up to the front. So we're all good and tidy there. We checked our cables, everything moves freely like it's supposed to. We removed our speedometer because we don't need that anymore. The new dash is almost done. So we'll give us a little once over here. We got all the wires in. I did have to switch this stuff around, but the little switch panel that I bought came with a wiring harness. It's pretty simple. If you look at the diagram, you can figure it out. It's not bad. So we got that all done. We're getting real close. I think that's what we've got for today. This is just a little quickie. I wanted to show you the panel and stuff, and it's coming along really good. All right, so we're just tidying up some more little things here. So we've got the charge port opening cut, and I just added this little, we'll just call it a support for the cable, just because I don't want it vibrating and destroying the connection there. We routed it back behind where you won't see any of this. The fairing goes and covers all this. So it should be nice and tidy looking from the front, or from the cockpit, I should say. Yeah, so we go like this, and we got power charging the phone, and it's I'll say it's water resistant for now. What I'm thinking is once I've gotten this thing totally dialed in, I'll probably squeeze just a little bit of silicone down in there, just to keep that plug from, make it kind of, drizzle proof, we'll call it. And it's behind the fairing too, so if you're cooking along on the highway and you get into a rainstorm, it's probably not going to get very wet unless it's just absolute torrential rain. So, and out where we live here, it doesn't rain a whole lot, so that should work pretty good for us. Get a couple more little things done here and we'll come up with a finished product. All right, just a quick little input here. For the Speedo cable, I had a piece of Delrin, which is just like a good plastic, and I turned it down in the lathe to the same diameter as the O-ring on the piece that came out of here, and a couple gentle taps and it popped right in. Threaded the set screw back in, and it should be good to go. I don't think that's ever going to come out, and it's tight enough to keep the dirt and dust out, you know what I mean? If a little bit of water gets in there or something, hopefully it won't, but I would say it could probably come through these seals anyway if you submerge the wheel or the hub. But should be a pretty decent fix for now. All right, guys. So here's the little secret. So there's our dash, right? We put some nifty plugs in there. We got them all on a power switch so we can go power it up. Charges the phone. This is a waterproof, dust-proof, vibration-proof, what they call like a militarized type phone. Ruggedized, I suppose you'd say. It's kind of a neat thing, but here's my little secret. I've been working on this for a while. Got this, I ordered this a few months back from a company called THORK Racing. They're out of Sweden, I think it is, or Switzerland. I think it's Sweden. And this is really neat. It's a Bluetooth controller for the phone. See, now I'm toggling this with my left hand. You can't see it just yet. Boom, we want to choose our dash. Boom, pulls up our dash. And there we are. If we want to go left and right, there's our standard Speedo. We can go home. We can, if we want to choose one of our apps in the center there, one of the GPS apps or something, I click the center button and it chooses there, and then I can toggle around. And mind you, this is all being done with my left hand on the handlebars. Maps, go over here, Spotify, say we want to use some Spotify to play some music, which would then be Bluetoothed to my helmet. And we go over here, we go to my riding soundtrack, we hit that, and then we go over here, we toggle down, boom. Now mind you, I could do this with my other stuff too, but it's kind of neat. And there we go. That's playing through the Bluetooth on my stereo in the garage, but you get the idea. You can back out of that. And do whatever you like with it. It's pretty neat. You still have usability with your hand gestures on the phone. Go back to your dash. And then your toggles still function like supposed to. You hit the bottom button. You've got the joystick. This is up, down, left, right. And then your accept is the center. And then this is, for certain things, this is like if you're adjusting the volume up and down. This is kind of, depending on the mode you're in, this is your back button. This is, I forget what this one does. I just got this hooked up, so I'm still working with it and learning it, but it's pretty cool. It's very cool. I'm very pleased with it. I can go through almost any app and play with things. See, now I can go, oh yeah, here, so I'll go, let's see if we can go, so you just change the brightness of the screen. See, I'm doing the bottom button down, or the up button. Okay, and then I can go, I toggle it down, I believe, yeah. Then we can get out of that one. Then we can go to the other pages, boom. Boom, boom. My preference is either the home, or this is probably what I'll use most of the time, unless I'm using GPS. It gives you a really cool, modernized dash on an old bike. Pretty trick. I just wanted to say thank you for THORK Racing. I did pay full price for this thing. It wasn't cheap. It was the better part of $300 delivered, but it's Bluetooth. It runs on a lithium battery cell that supposedly will last 2 weeks of use per charge. It charges with USB-C, which is the same as the dash, so I can plug that in if need be if I'm on the road for that long. Personally, I probably never will be. I don't have that kind of time, unfortunately. So I'll just, as little as this is going to get used, it'll probably last me a month per charge at least. So pretty neat. And then we've got the obligatory, 12 volt receptacle. And then we've got our USB with a voltage readout. It's kind of neat. Right now we're sitting at 12.5 volts. So that's great. You can tell if your bike's charging. Say you're using heated grips, or you got all your headlights on and you're worried whether it's charging or not. Or if your electrical system can overcome all the consumption. Well, now you'll be able to tell. So it's pretty neat. It's nice to have something that simple. Works really good. Very pleased. We popped the chain on and the new sprockets too, so she's getting real close to being done. We did a little torque tube action, or not torque tube, tool tube, and this one, I don't know how long most people do them. This one runs all the way up to here, so it's kind of nice. I got room for a lot of goodies in there. But anyway, guys, that's just a quick overview of what I've been working on. This dash has been a long time coming, but I'm very pleased with the outcome. It works really good, looks really good. You'd never know that was a cell phone if you just glanced at it. Pretty cool.